Hello, YouTube divers. This is Waterdive 122, and I want to welcome you all to another episode of Magic Metal Mondays. So today we're going to be counting down, ranking the 16 studio albums from one of the greatest power metal bands of all time, Finland's very own Stratovarius. Stratovarius. Gosh, when I say this is a band that I've wanted to do for a very long time, this is one of those primary examples. I have wanted to do Stratovarius forever. But now I finally did listen to all 16 of their albums, and yeah, it's easy to understand why this band is super popular and super iconic and legendary in the power metal scene. These guys absolutely rule. They were primarily led by guitarist Timo Tolkki, who sang on the first three albums and then basically played guitar from their debut all the way to their self-titled album in 2005. And then he left the band in 2008, and Matthias Kupiainen has been on the guitars ever since. And vocalist speaking, as I said, Timo Tolkki sang on the first three albums, and then from their fourth album onward, you had Timo Koripelo as the lead singer, and right off the bat, he is one of my favorite power metal vocalists. He's got that same range and cleanliness and power as a prime Michael Kiske, and he's got that vulnerability and stage presence and emotion that a guy like Roy Khan, for example, has. It's just the perfect marriage of both singers, in my opinion, and it's honestly what makes Timo Koripelto one of the best in all of power metal. And of course, the legendary Jens Johansson has been rocking out on the keys ever since their fourth or fifth album, if my memory serves me right. But they've had a lot of great musicians over the years, whether it's on guitars, bass, keyboards, drums, you name it, vocals as well. But yeah, this band's got a lot of material to go through. We got 16 records, so as usual, these longer rankings will be split in two videos. In this part, we'll be tackling albums number 16 through 9, and then the next video we'll be talking about numbers 8 to number 1. Okay, so enough yapping. Let's get this party started. So coming in at number 16 is the 1994 album Dream Space. So this is the band's third studio album, and it is the final album with Timo Tolkki on the vocals before Timo Koripelto joined the band. And yeah, this is not a very good album, in my opinion. Stratovarius don't have too many bad albums, but in my opinion, this is one of the bad albums. I think musically speaking, it's okay. Timo Tolkki is obviously one of the best guitar players and one of the best songwriters in all of power metal. So he has that going for him at least. But his vocals on this album, oh my God, it's just horrible. And that's really saying something, because I thought he was fine on the previous two albums. But here, he just sounds so nasally and just so irritating behind the mic. It's no wonder why this was his last album on the vocals before Timo Koripelto joined the band. And also, this album is way too long. It has 14 tracks, and it clocks in at about 63 minutes long. I know Stratovarius albums typically go in this range, but jeepers, this is just too much, in my opinion. But there are some good tracks on this album. You have Hold On to Your Dream, Tears of Ice, and Thin Ice. These two tracks are really unique and really interesting. They're really dark tracks. The title track is okay. Reign of Terror is cool. Magic Carpet Ride is all right. And then my favorite song on the album has to go to We Are the Future. This definitely calls back to a lot of those power metal anthems that Stratovarius were experiencing on their first two albums. And, honestly, I really like it. Plus, it has Timo Tolkki's best vocal performance on this album by a country mile. But yeah, it's not enough to say this album overall. And as we will see later on, Stratovarius get exponentially better from here. So with that said, Dream Space comes in here at number 16. At number 15, we're going to be going to their debut album, Fright Night, from 1989. Generally, the Timo Tolkki era, the Timo Tolkki vocal era of the band, the first three albums are generally considered to be their low point. And I can see why. This is a very young band. They don't quite know what they want to do, but there are some really good ideas here. And right away, you can already hear the glimpses of brilliance in the songwriting that Timo Tolkki would eventually develop on later albums. Tracks like Black Knight, Future Shock, Night Screamer, Witch Hunt, and my favorite song on the album, False Messiah. It's just generally a fantastic look into what the band's future holds. And yeah, I mean, it's just a good start, but we're going to see where they go to in future records. So with that said, Fright Night comes in here at number 15. And number 14 is their self-titled album, Stratovarius, from 2005. This is the final album with Timo Tolkki on the guitars before he left the band. And this is also the last album with their bassist. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but yeah, essentially this is the last album with the episode lineup, if you will. And in my opinion, that was easily their best lineup of musicians, as you'll see. And this is definitely the weakest album with Timo Kotipelto on vocals. I think Timo Kotipelto, in his own right, does a pretty good job on this album. He sounds really good, really powerful, as he always does. But yeah, the songs just feel super uninspired. They don't really feel cohesive. And I know that Timo Tolkki was going through some really bad mental health stuff around this time. I mean, I think it was either before this album or the Elements duology, which we'll talk about in the next video, spoiler alert. He was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And as a result, that really got in the way of Stratovarius' music and their lyrics. And that's really apparent on this self-titled album. Especially with the track Maniac Dance, which, quite honestly, I do not like that song at all. Probably my least favorite Stratovarius song, if I'm being totally honest. But the rest of the album is okay to pretty good. I think this album's a little bit overhated. You got tracks like Back to Madness, Just Carry On, United, Gypsy and Me, Fight, and the beautiful ballad that is Land of Ice and Snow. One thing that Stratovarius really does well, especially in the Timo Kotipelto era, is make just these amazing, gut-wrenching ballads. And this is one of them, Land of Ice and Snow. It's a gorgeous ballad, great vocal performance from Timo Kotipelto. But yeah, this album is just very, very mid. I don't plan on returning to this record anytime soon. Okay, so now we're moving on to number 13. We've got Twilight Time from 1992. So this is the band's sophomore studio album and easily is the best album with Timo Tolkki on the vocals. In my opinion, this album has his best vocal performance, and it's really jarring listening to this album and then Dream Space right after this. It's like literally night and day. I don't know what happened. But yeah, I think this album's pretty decent. Definitely the best record of the first three. Tracks like the title track, Break the Ice, The Hands of Time, Madness Strikes at Midnight, and my favorite song on the record, Out of the Shadows. These tracks really build on what Fright Night had developed and would grow towards what they would experiment with on Dream Space and Fourth Dimension and all those records. But yeah, Twilight Time, what more can I say? It's a pretty good album. Comes in here at number 13. At number 12, we've got the 2011 album, Elysium. So this might be a little bit controversial for some Stratovarius fans, especially in this little modern era where they were just basically cranking out banger after banger as if it was the late 90s, early 2000s. But Elysium is definitely the weakest album out of their modern output. It's not a terrible record by any means. From here on out, all these records are at the very least good. I just think they perfected this modern style better on other albums. But you got fantastic tracks like Darkest Hours, Lifetime in a Moment, Event Horizon, Infernal Maze, Under Flaming Skies, the absolutely epic 18-minute title track Elysium, and the beautiful ballad that is Moving the Mountain. This is my favorite song on the album and another one of my favorite Stratovarius songs of all time. This is just, oh my God, it's so gut-wrenching. But yeah, overall, Elysium, a pretty good album, but they've done better. And coming in at number 11, we've got their most recent album, 2022's Survive. So Survive is an interesting album because this definitely built off of what the previous album, Eternal, had developed, where it was super dark, heavy, proggy, and wonky. It just basically felt like a record that Dream Theater or Symphony X would create. But I think Eternal did it a little bit better. Survive is not a bad album by any means. It's actually got a lot of standout tracks and standout performances, especially from guitarist Matthias Kopiainen. So my favorite tracks on this album, you got Glory Days, which has a really infectious chorus. Breakaway is fun. Before the Fall is really good. Frozen in Time, Broken, the title track Survive, which again has another absolutely catchy chorus. Demand's an awesome track, and then the 11-minute epic to close off the album, Voice of Thunder. Oh yeah, now we're talking. And again, it's got another absolutely infectious chorus. Seems like Timo Kotipelto and the boys were really hard at work trying to create some of the most infectious choruses they've ever done on this album. And yeah, for the most part, I think it worked. But yeah, Survive, good album. Comes in here at number 11. Okay, moving on to number 10. We've got the 2013 album Nemesis. So Nemesis is an interesting album because on one hand, it has one of the band's biggest hits of all time, Unbreakable, and that's an amazing song. But I feel like that's like the one thing a lot of people will remember about this album. It's Unbreakable, and for good reason. It's awesome, but there are some other songs on here that I like better personally, like Halcyon Days, Castles in the Air, which is so gorgeous. Abandon, which is one of their heaviest songs to date. Dragons, If the Story is Over, which again is one of their absolute best ballads of all time. I adore that song. The title track is really cool with a really powerful chorus. No pun intended if you know the song. And then my favorite track has to go to One Must Fall. This is a very unique song in many aspects. It's very unpredictable and it's very just kind of out there in left field, but yet it's so beautiful and so majestic, just like classic Stratovarius. And of course, it also helps that Timo Kotipelto isn't a vocal god at this point. Just continues to get better and better with each album. But yeah, overall, Nemesis, a pretty darn good album, comes in here at number 10. And for the final album that we're going to be discussing in this video, at number 9, we're going to be tackling 2015's Eternal. So I kind of alluded to this when I was talking about Survive, which came out after this album. This is a very dark, heavy, beefy, muscular album. And it's also very proggy and wonky and crazy. Definitely a lot of Dream Theater influence in here, Symphony X influence as well. But yeah, I mean, Eternal, what more can I say? It's got a gorgeous ballad in Fire in Your Eyes, which, again, just showcases Timo Kotipelto's best vocal abilities. Then you have Shine in the Dark, which is another fan favorite, and for good reason. This song absolutely rocks. My Eternal Dream is another one of their heaviest songs ever. Feeding the Fire is super anthemic and fun. In My Line of Work is just one of the catchiest songs that they've done in this era. And then my favorite song on the album has to go to the 11.5 minute closing epic, The Lost Saga. It's an amazing song, one of their best epics of all time, and definitely the best epic song they've done since the Destiny title track. Minor spoiler alert there, rather. But yeah, overall, Eternal, a, a fantastic album. Comes in here at number 9. All right, so that concludes the first part of my Stratovarius album rankings. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow YouTube divers. This is WaterDive122 signing out, ready to dive into more fun on YouTube. Thanks for watching.